I feel like the crux of this quest, and we probably have very much brushed over it, was like this uh it's very much about Inanna, but it's also very much about Inanna not trusting Anya,
Yep.
who is very in and out of our purview as she keep getting banished by Inanna from being following us.
And this was
So
the key
having like
point for that, because you again have the option to say whether
this is
you
where we
not you trust her or something in the middle like
Yeah.
that.
right, and this is where they had this nice little area to do the character moment of like going to be on the same team, setting up what we're doing future quests. But
Yep.
this is the I know there's no gameplay or content or anything here. This is the boss fight of the quest is of the climax of the character arc is them as Inanna finally being okay with Anya.
Right.
That being
As
said, this is where all the weird Anya stuff happens.
yeah, and I was going to
The
say,
weird Anya stuff we crave.
as people, do we trust her? Like, if you were your character
Enough.
at this point, would you be trusting her?
Um,
I hesitate to use the word
hmm,
role play because I don't exactly engage with the game in those terms, but the choices I've been picking have been trust but verify, like cautiously optimistic.
hmm,
I think like me as myself looking at the story as an outside observer, like I think Anya is trustworthy just because I think they're doing so much work to set her up as being trustworthy that
hmm.
having her ultimately turn out to be a secret villain would be sixth age M. Night bullshit.
But
Sure.
see, that's the thing. How many times has our character been taken
Been
advantage
a
of
been a rube.
Mm.
that they could go that way? Right?
I do
They
think there's a
they
possibility
can.
that Anya will become antagonistic at some point, but
But
Oh
she's
if
not
that
that right
happens,
now.
she's not that
yeah.
right now. And I think if that happens, it's either going to be because we don't trust her or Sanguine takes control.
Sure. I mean,
That's
if it's probably already my fear right now on the when she gets like the I think it's like the furious chat head, which has flared up a couple times, once
yep.
in the previous quest and a couple times this quest is
Hmm.
that's it feels like she's got it to some extent, to whatever extent all vampires have it, or vampires from a Vampirium now have it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
it definitely affects her. As far as her trustworthiness, I think that there's two things that happen here which raise my eyebrow. One is the very forthcoming information about her real name and title, which I mean, half of it is that was, I think, one of the biggest questions out of the previous quest. So it's kind of like a we're answering the community question as to what how she
Right.
belongs to.
Right. It's a bone to the lore nerds.
But also it feels like she's giving something that maybe doesn't matter so much in the
Mm.
long scheme, so we do trust her more.
Because this back and
The
forth
other,
with them was, wildly
mhm,
impactful from any sort of, grand lore that we got here. We
yeah,
need to mention that. Um, I'm gonna mess up the pronunciation of the
go
house,
for it.
but it was Jovkai? Is that how you guys would say?
Jokai, yeah,
Yeah, House
right.
Jovkai.
She does say something peculiar, which is she says she's the last, was it like leader, heir, or whatever, head of that house. When there are, I know she's said she's not been to Mauritania, but there are people with that surname in Mauritania that were like at the noble parties. So that's an interesting tidbit. So maybe just the last that was on Vampirium,
Yeah, well,
that
she
she
also
knows of.
says something, I don't remember the exact wording, but it's to the effect of like, not that there's anyone left to lead or something like that.
Right, right. Um, so
Uh,
that's interesting, and maybe that will be we'll have to make those mesh at some point. Um, the other interesting thing that happens in this section is when she sends us away with Inanna's blood to go talk to Esther. And Esther basically says, "Why did she send you here? She knew exactly what to just to mix these two things."
yeah,
Right.
And we
that
come
was
back
my
and
second
nothing
sanity
bad
check.
happened. So
That was
this
my
one is like,
second
okay,
sanity check.
they're gonna pull back at this moment at some point, and like they had a secret conversation where like maybe Anya clued Inanna in that they're gonna have to do something we don't like eventually, or yeah, or she did something additional to Inanna, or she did something in this realm. So who knows how that's gonna pull back? But that was the very suspect.
Hmm.
She's still doing her own thing, even
Right,
if
because
she's being cooperative.
remember
Sure.
um remember in the first quest and the discussion of Esther, positioned strictly as a woman of science.
Hmm.
And the reason I bring that up is because if you're looking at, and I know lots of people like this, if you're looking at people who specifically approach things from a very scientific lens, they'll be able to tell you, one way or another if somebody is doing something maybe with some kind of ulterior motive. So that's why, for me, that second sanity check by going and asking Esther about all these questions was kind of, I think, a way of reaffirming to our character that, this is okay. And in the back of my head, that's when I said, okay for now.
It's
Right.
okay for now. Yeah, because there was no gameplay reason or technical reason or story reason for sending us out of that was current story reason for sending us out of that den.
What did they talk about while we were gone?
Well, I do think there is a
Go ahead.
slight story reason of you do have a conversation with Esther about Anya's trustworthiness while Anya
Sure,
was
and
not
that's
present.
feeding back into the us
So
being sent out there should make
right,
this question.
it feeds back into there being a driving question throughout this series of how much do and should we trust Anya?
Hmm. And that's always the choice we're given is like three options. I totally trust
Right.
her. I'm trusting her for now, or I don't trust her. Whenever
But
we're
she
talking to
literally
other characters
said,
about her,
Esther literally said when we asked her, that is a question that keeps me up at night.
she's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Still a question going forward.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was going to bet money on it right now, I would bet that at some point Anya turns on us.
I would not. If maybe this is just me saying I don't think they'll do the Mareki stuff again, like to the same amount. I don't think that Anya will ever go as far as Vaneskula did in betraying us, which I think is
Sure.
the most straightforward path is to that degree.
Right.
We're still sympathetic, but ultimately, yeah, full backstab. She's the villain of the finale or last two quests or whatever.
Yep.
I think it'll be less than that because we've done that beat before. That's pretty much my only reason. It's like just
Yeah, and the other thing to kind of go back to a comment that was said earlier by one of you is that that's just a very Sixth Age path to take.
mm-hmm.
It's surprise for the sake of surprise.
Yeah. But I still feel
I would expect
like,
her to us to
given
have
our history, I would
and
bet on that.
Yeah, I would say we'd have disagreement, and there's probably parts where we are working against her, but I wouldn't say for a full quest she's the villain or a boss or a fight even, in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think overall in story terms, I'll just to sort of reiterate, I think I already said this, but I think she is on the level. She is genuinely trying to help. We
Mm-hmm.
may end up antagonizing her at some point, or she may end up antagonizing us, not entirely of her own volition.
Yeah, going really far in the future here, either she will stomp out the Sanguine at any cost, and there's a downside to that, or the inverse, she refuses to stop out the Sanguine entirely, and we feel like we should. I think maybe one of those two ways.
The other thing that I was thinking further on down the line in this quest series, of course, is that it ends up with it being a large reckoning for her for just how the various houses of Vampirium were able to use subjects in Coniphus. And maybe this is the alternative foil to that, where this doesn't need to happen in Havenhythe, and maybe Anya is our true, adventuring companion throughout this entire thing, and will slowly but surely come to the realization that she needs to do whatever she can to prevent whatever is afflicting the lands as we go further east into Havenhythe.